Welcome to another episode of the Beauty Pop Podcast. I'm Victoria.
And I'm Jen.
And today we're going to talk about my least favorite season because it reminds me that summer is over. We're going to talk about fall beauty trends.
Yep.
And Jen, you're an LA girl. You get to summer all the time, pretty much.
Which is why I love fall. And I'm a fall girl.
Do you guys even get? I'm okay. So I'm in Asbury Park, New Jersey. I'm on the Jersey Shore. We obviously have 4 seasons.
Yep.
But do you as an LA girl, do you really get a fall?
Not
because I've had Thanksgiving in California, in LA. I've been out there. My brother and sister-in-law got married at the end of October. Like, I've been there in the fall, and it's just felt like summer.
Yeah, we don't get much fall. Every once in a while, the weather will get a little crisp, but it's really not the fall that everyone else gets, and we don't get the leaves as much, which really makes me sad. I've always wanted to experience like a real fall with the changing of the colors, but they always say in LA and in California that we actually just have 2 seasons, which is generally spring and summer. And that's pretty much it. It doesn't get very cold. The fall season isn't all that exciting, but I love pumpkin spice. My house has pumpkins all over it. I still grip to it. Even if they're fake leaves, I still have a few hanging around the house.
So if you were on the East Coast, you would be what we here call leaf peepers.
I am. I'm a
leaf
peeper.
People. Yeah. It sounds so like, I don't know, perverted in a way.
It does.
But those are people who literally travel just to see fall foliage. There is a town in southern Vermont right now that's making news on the East Coast because they have beautiful fall foliage. And people are, get this, I didn't even think this was real, but I just read it. People are driving there for the Instagram shots. They're setting up temporary dressing rooms, like a pop-up tent, on people's property. They're trespassing. They're setting up tents and changing outfits. One lady who lives on like a farm nearby said she saw a girl change her outfits 10 times.
That is
just to get the foliage.
She needs her content.
Yes, she needs some content, and that's what she's doing. She's trespassing. That's a lot of good content.
Man.
But just because we always like the East Coast, pretty much the whole country, likes to say that like all the wackos are in California. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. And you know what? Her next Instagram post will be her mugshot for the trespassing
part.
Exactly.
But remember the best mugshot of all time is probably Nicole Richie.
Oh, man.
Remember when she got pulled over, she was going like the wrong way on the freeway?
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Her little cute mugshot was like, I'm like, fine. Like, this is nothing. Like,
this
it was
is
so
cute. Beneath me.
Yeah.
And now she's a mom.
I know. And now she's like super normal and cool. And like, Paris is sort of the weird one now.
And even she's settled down. It's crazy. But yeah, fall trends today. I've been doing some
fall
research.
Trends.
Yeah.
Fall trends. Yes.
I did a lot of compiling of lists, and there's a lot of commonality. I went to Harper's Bazaar. I went to Marie Claire. A lot of common themes about some of the makeup trends that'll be coming for fall of 2023. So let's see how many of these will actually fit the bill. And then you have some nail trends for us today as well, right?
Yes, I religiously read the Rachel Zoe newsletter.
Love it.
Which I recommend if you just, coverage New York Fashion Week here on the East Coast just ended. So everyone has now packed up. They're all in Milan now. They travel like a little caravan around the fashion world. And so Rachel Zoe, if you just want to kind of see what the trends are, and she does a great job with her newsletter of here's the trend, runway, kind of like the old, I think it was an In Style magazine that used to do runway to reality.
Love it. Yes.
And so it was like, here's what's being shown. Here's what you can buy at Zara, to get like the same look. So so she just did a whole thing in her newsletter about some nail trends that are interesting. But let's start with some makeup.
All right. So let's start with makeup.
What are we going to be doing this fall?
All right. So according to, again, these are compiled, my own list, balletcore beauty is going to be big. New York Fashion Week saw a lot of this. So if you're looking at the coverage of New York Fashion Week, balletcore means frosty iridescence on the eyes. Notice these little peepers right here.
Yes, you love that.
I'm always on that. Softly sculpted skin and pink tones on the cheeks and the lips. So think like Charlotte Tilbury is what totally came to mind when I thought about this. That kind of frosty pink look is supposed to be really big. I wonder if that's because of the Barbie movie and all the Barbie hysteria, if balletcore has...
Barbiecore is still a thing.
Still going on.
Barbiecore is now probably transitioned into balletcore. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Lots of
And
tutus,
I
like
think
that kind of stuff
balletcore
is
is maybe, and I don't want to say the tutus, but I think the look of balletcore is probably Barbie's like sophisticated older sister, right? It's less
perfect.
bubblegum pink, but still in the pink family with some frosted
Yep,
shades. So that's number one.
absolutely.
Number two, and I kind of love this. I'm excited for this. I never do this, but I may do some experimenting because if you were a kid of the 90s, you remember the vampy lip, right? That really dark
Yes.
lip. So they say the goth aesthetic of this is coming back. If you want to do less vampy, they say go for a true blue red. You can do a bright glossy red, which is supposed to be kind of the easy way that you can go into this. But they're talking about dark colors and a lot of definition, lip liner. And usually to me, when I think about the vampy lip, I always think about matte shades. But according
Yeah.
to at least this story, they're saying glossy is still fine, but definitely a dramatic, really highly defined lip that borders on the vampy side of things, little goth. I like
I
it.
think a little bit of goth is fine. I love
Yeah.
that. But I think it's important that as you get a little older, because,
Your lips
we were a
shrink.
lot younger when this came around the first
That's
time.
right.
But like now, if you're a little bit older, having some non-matte is essential. So having a little bit
Yeah.
of gloss, a little bit of shine in the lipstick. I forget what it was. It was the Chanel Vamp, right? It was
Oh,
that
that's what it
that
was.
lipstick that everyone had,
And
right?
it
It was
was
the
almost black, but it was like that really
yeah.
pretty dark red. When I think of vampy for me, because I'm not going to look ridiculous with dark lipstick on. I feel uncomfortable. I'm embarrassed.
I
Like,
can't with these lips.
I know
It's not
I've
happening.
always wanted to do a red lip. I never really go outside with the red lip, but what I do like on myself, and I have a pretty fair complexion, is I love to find like a really pretty either brick red or almost kind of like a burgundy purple. So I either
Mhm.
go for the more purple shades, would seem to work for me, and I know they're both in different color families, but for me, I always try to go for either a burgundy or a bricky colored red, which seems to kind of not be so intense and so bright and
Yeah.
so out there, but it kind of still fits the trend.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I'm thinking like now that you're saying this with the vamp thing, having just looked at all the pictures of all the celebrities who
Yeah,
were at New York Fashion Week, Jennifer Lopez, who normally I always think of as more of like neutrals, light
definitely a
pinks,
nude lip.
beiges,
Yeah.
nude lip. She was at the Ralph Lauren show. She's been wearing Ralph a lot lately at
Hmm.
the Met Gala and everything. Vampy lips, vampy long nails,
Yeah.
like everything is that burgundy, that shade. Kerry Washington actually developed a shade with a nail shade with OPI, and this was a couple of years ago, and
Hmm.
it's completely back, and it's a beautiful dark burgundy. Rihanna has been spotted also recently wearing that same look, so it's definitely moving on trend. The kind of like match your nails to your lips
Right.
thing that
Yep.
was big in the 90s, that's definitely back. So I think you make a great point, though. Just because it's a trend, you have to find what works for you,
Absolutely.
because you're going to look stupid if you're just out chasing a trend. It's not going to
Hmm.
work. You have to find the right shade for your complexion, the right tone, the right undertones,
Especially when
all
you
of
get
that.
to a certain age. I mean, we can't all
Yeah.
just, you can't have a total, it looks ridiculous to have a full on face filled with trends. So you find
Yeah.
what's workable for you. And, we always forget, like, we get so serious about everything in life. Like, beauty and our routine should be fun. It shouldn't just be one
Yes.
more thing we have to think about or one thing. It should be something that actually makes us feel good. Otherwise, it's not really worth doing. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm down with the vamp
All
goth
right.
trend
So
for
we got
sure.
balletcore. We have the vampy lip. Next up, they say is high gloss. And of course, that's been a trend, I think, for a while, like this gloss trend. And they're saying that the beauty industry, they love a core. They say if you're looking for another one, they're calling this mermaid core because it's kind of that just out of the water, very moisturized, very glowy, high gloss. They call it the mermaid core aesthetic. And it's about glass-like radiant skin that looks fresh, looks hydrated. To get the look, they say you should use some like hydrating mist before you walk out to make sure you keep that dew throughout the day. And I think this has been a trend for a while. I don't even want to say that this is actually a strictly fall trend. I mean, maybe calling it mermaid core is, but I think that glossy skin look, the glazed donut that we've been talking about with
Hmm.
Hailey Bieber, that's been kind of a pretty much, I think it's been consistent all year.
Well, that actually started, I want to say maybe even pre-COVID, maybe the beginning of COVID, when Korean beauty, K-beauty
Yeah.
really took off and everyone was at home and focusing on skincare. And, you know, like slugging was a
Yep.
big thing, you know, like literally the snail mucin and putting that. I did that too. It didn't honestly have that much of a change of on my skin. But, and they don't kill them, just so
They milk
it's
them.
not vegan. It's not vegan, but they like traverse across this little thing. And then the mucin that's the slime like that's left is what goes in the bottle.
Yeah.
I didn't notice a huge difference for my skin with it, but it's been very popular because over there, honey skin and glass skin were the two big things long before Hailey Bieber invented the glazed donut skin.
Right.
It was all K beauty. So you're right. That's been around now for a while.
And it's continuing.
But I think the reason it's sticking around is because it looks flattering on everyone.
Well, yeah, I think anybody, when you put some time and effort into your skincare, you're going to notice a difference. Even if you cover it with makeup, you're going to notice when you have a really good canvas. So yeah. I think it's a good trend. I think it's, you know, to have hydrated skin doesn't even seem like it should be a trend. It should just be a normal thing. Now, the next trend, and this one I love for the fall, and I've seen a lot of kids. It's so funny. I've been just, you know, in my drive, I go by a lot of schools. So I see a lot of kids coming out of school and all the kids are doing like the brown lip. And so they're saying more than that. This is about going back to browns, right? And this is, again, another tip of the hat, I think, to the 90s where everybody was doing those really dark brown shades.
Bobby Brown literally pushed everyone into this.
They also call it latte makeup. So you might be seeing that a lot on Twitter and on TikTok and on Instagram, where the latte makeup look is various shades of brown. So you're starting with kind of a monochromatic look, which is also on the list, but you're going to start with brown eyeshadow. You're going to stick in your nude palettes. You're going to do maybe a brown or a more peachy blush, and then a light brown nude or a dark brown if you want to go full on trend brown to finish it up. So it's all about the browns for fall in the makeup palettes.
So question for you, since you are very blonde with blue eyes and fair skin, just in case someone's not watching the video version of this, I have very dark hair and very dark eyes. Browns are super easy for me.
Yeah.
How are browns? Like, is that a challenge? Because you're a wizard when it comes to eye makeup, but is it challenging if you're blonde to do the browns?
So the one thing that I always look for is the kind of tone to the brown. If it is a chocolatey brown or if it's a champagne, those are the colors. Like on the light side for my brow bone, I always look for a champagne, which is, you know, very pale, but it still has brownie tones, very universal. And then chocolate brown, I always use, in fact, I'm using it today, even though in this light, it looks purple. But there's, it's chocolate brown that I do in the crease of my eyes.
I literally thought that was like all lilac.
No, it's it's weird light in here today, but it's actually, I had a little pink, but then it was just brown and it looks weird. What I have to be careful of though, are those really pretty sunset palettes that I love looking at on other people, but not on me. And the sunset ones are the ones that turn a little too yellow and a little too orange on me. So if I can avoid those kind of light to mid-range colors that have a little bit too much orange or yellow to them, browns are great, but it's just all about the tone. So I typically stay away from medium browns and use mostly either dark or a lighter brown to do my eyes.
So that's a good tip for any blondes listening who are like, you know, I don't know that I can do that, you know, because it definitely is, it looks like it would be a challenge.
Yep. And I also think, you know, a lot of time during the summer when I'm just using one color, maybe just to give myself a little coverage from all the veins that happen underneath my very pale white skin. I use a tan color and that works on everybody. I think just the tan that looks like a natural tan for you, just a little bit on my eyelids. It's a good way to do brown as well. So there's that. Now, just because we talked about it, we can skip ahead to monochromatic makeup because they say that's also a season trend that's persisting into fall because it was a spring and summer trend as well. And
also monochromatic dressing.
I know.
Very flattering.
Very flattering.
So 90s.
Yep.
Think about like who was big in the 90s. Carolyn Bessette Kennedy never was in more than one color at once.
Yep.
Gwyneth Paltrow, I think of her in the late 90s, either all in black or all in navy or all in, you know, oatmeal color.
That's right.
Cameron Diaz kind of also had that going on in the 90s. Kate Moss, famous for that monochromatic look. It is very chic. It's super easy to throw together.
Totally.
I know a lot of women who have to commute and maybe drop kids off at school and things like that. You kind of want to get like a uniform down.
It
So
looks
easy and
finished.
very chic.
Yeah,
Yes.
it looks finished. And I actually prefer monochromatic dressing to monochromatic makeup. Even though
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
brown is the exception, because I really think you can get away with a fully brown face, the latte look, as we've been talking about. But I don't love seeing pink, and I know this is balletcore, but pink eyes, pink lips, pink blush, pink out. I mean, I really feel like just to add some dimension sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's a little better. But for dressing, it is super flattering and it's super easy. If you can
Yep.
find it's slimming, I mean, really doing and it looks finished. You look like you
Yeah.
actually were intentionally
Yes.
doing something that wasn't that hard. So
Yeah.
I think
I
I'm more
actually,
fans with monochromatic dressing than I am with the makeup
yeah.
trend.
And from what I've seen what I saw on the runways last February, which is
Mm-hmm.
what's going to be in, in stores and stuff right now, the monochromatic look is in
Sticking
for
around.
clothing.
Yep.
It's sticking around, but the nice thing is you mix it I haven't been in Banana Republic in I don't even know how many years, but I popped in with a girlfriend like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Banana Republic right now, I gotta say, not that expensive,
Yeah.
but they're kind of killing it. And what they're doing is like, think of like a beautiful, like silk charmeuse, like long skirt, right?
Uh-huh.
They're doing like that kind of a thing. Same color family, put like a fuzzy sweater on top.
Oh, nice. So
So
you're mixing texture.
you're mixing textures and fabric, and it's also so 90s. Like
Yeah.
that was such a 90s thing. Like the silk slip dress with like a mohair kind of sweater over it,
Totally. It
or
was
like
always like the
Angora or
t-shirt
whatever.
or the Angora sweater or the whatever, but it
Yep.
was a mixed media basically.
This
Interesting.
is revisiting that, but it's much more sophisticated looking this
Right.
time around. It's not as like cartoonish as sometimes it got,
Mm-hmm.
and the colors are more sophisticated.
Well, plus I think Luxe fabrics together look very expensive and it looks nice,
Yes.
especially this time
Yep.
of year. You can't always do it, but for fall,
Yeah.
it's a good look. It's the cozy kind of vibe, where you've got
It
the
is.
satiny skirt, the silky skirt.
I don't love it in the spring, to be honest. I think you're nailing it. It's a fall thing.
Definitely
I don't love it in the spring.
Fall trend. Back to the makeup. This one I cannot stand. Colorful mascara, they say, is the new black mascara. And if there is one thing I cannot stand and I absolutely hate and I will never use again, it is colored mascara. It does not work. It does not do you any favors. It's distracting. When you look at someone's face and they have blue or green mascara, if it even works, it's just distracting. So I don't know. I'm sorry if that's your jam. You know what? I have strong opinions. I have takes on the colored mascara, but I don't love it.
I'm with you. I never liked it. I thought it was horrible the first time around in the 90s when, even when we were like kids and we could get away with it.
And
it
I
still
tried.
Bad.
I tried. I remember having pink and light blue lashes and it was just, but it does not look good.
Yeah.
It's like a Halloween costume. It's just not wearable.
It's like that's the thing. If you want to try that trend, be a mermaid for Halloween. There you go.
That's right.
You can have mermaid lashes.
Perfect.
That works.
All right. And then just two more here. So they say statement lips, which we talked about vampy, but according to this is Marie Claire now speaking, the statement lip can be in not just vampy colors, but they're saying blues, purples, think MAC and probably MAC right around the same time we're talking about. Those really bright, vibrant crayon colors can also be a trend for the fall, which I don't think is wearable. These are the ones that I would probably stay away from. You'll notice that's why I threw them at the bottom of the list because God love you if you can pull off blue as a 40-year-old, but I just can't. So
no,
it's not my deal.
And you know what? Do you remember? It was early 90s, and I remember my older cousin took me shopping. I forget where we went. Maybe it was like Target or something, something equivalent to that. And we went over to like she had to get makeup stuff. She was in college at the time. And I was like drawn to, I think it was L'Oreal.
Yeah.
And it was like a liquid kind of lipstick thing. And they were in lavender, lilac, like opaque colors where your lips were like legit lilac. And
wow.
They looked terrible back then, but like I thought it was the coolest thing, because it was so like peak early 90s.
Right.
But if that's what they're bringing back in lipstick form, good luck.
Oh, I was looking at the models that were walking the runway, and maybe this was New York Fashion Week. I didn't see it in the stuff that I watched, but yellow, like bright chalk colored yellow, green, like hunter green, like a beautiful color green, just not for lipstick, and bright royal blue. So I say that's a pass. Not my favorite. And
no, that's a pass.
last one on the list. I think it's the jury's maybe still out because I think there's a little room for this, but it really encapsulates what we talked about for the fall trend. And that is grunge meets glam. So it's not a full return to grunge style of the 90s because they are still saying that there's some glam elements to it. So what the idea is that you do the grungy colors, you do the grungy look, but you still incorporate some metallics, some sparkles, some shine, which gives you kind of your grunge glam look. I think primarily really probably for lips and eyes, right? I don't hate this idea because I think that when I think of grunge makeup and 90s makeup, everything is matte, like we talked about. So I think a lot of that stuff could be made prettier. And I think even better than that, more accessible and easy to wear if there were some shimmer involved and a little bit of shine to kind of ease things up and reflect the light. So I'm saying that the verdict's out on this one. I will try a little, maybe I'll try a little grunge glam on the weekend and see if I can pull it off.
You know what it's kind of giving me vibes of? You could probably like a Kat Von D because we talk about the right, like a thick eyeliner because the 90s was like lots of under the eyeliner, you know, like the whole eye was rimmed, and then you add a little bit of the sparkle to kind of soften that up,
right?
Like
and lots of mascara,
or even. Yeah, I think that actually could be really cool.
Yeah,
and it's to me it screams 2023 Gwen Stefani because I think that is how I would describe her look,
her vibe, exactly. Yeah. So there you go. Do you feel like you're up to date on all of the fall trends? I think that's a pretty good list. And I think
it is a good list.
I think there's some stuff that's actually really doable on that list, which is exciting.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And so I'm excited because you've given me a beautiful eyeshadow palette that I now that the fall is here, I'm kind of getting into.
You gotta break it out. I know.
Yeah. Like I want to experiment a bit with it. So I'm going to definitely take some of those. I think I might leave like the balletcore thing behind, maybe like a knot bun might be like I have today. Like that might be like the most I do. But but I think there's some really great things in there. So thank you, Miss Jen, for that amazing report.
So what do you have though on nails? Because I just got my nails done. And by the way, the Biogel is killing it. These are all my natural nails. And I have a couple of big events coming up.
So you do LCNs, right? That's what I have.
This is just Biogel. I don't know what the name of it is, but Biogel is just like a hard gel they paint over.
That's
over your
and
real
then
nail.
It cures, right? And then it cures,
and then they paint
that's
it.
what I have too.
Yeah.
And so a couple nail trends that I read from the Rachel Zoe report was so vampy nails. The browns, the dark reds. Yeah.
They look so pretty too. I love using the vampier the better on my nails and my toes for sure.
And the thing that's nice, it doesn't matter the length of your nails. Right. It looks good on every length.
In fact, I'd say sometimes shorter, even those darker colors look better.
Yeah, for sure. So that's one thing. Another trend that I'm not into, Hailey Bieber's doing it right now, is like the yellow tangerine.
Not a fan.
Not into that.
Not a fan. Lot, I was talking to my lady yesterday when I got my nails done. She said a ton of people are doing orange. And I was like, because it's still summer in California. So I was like, well, like bright coral or like still the poppy beachy colors. She's like,
orange.
No orange. And I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
She's like,
Hailey Bieber I know. She just was posting with that. Yeah, I'm not into the orange thing. Then the other thing is sort of like what I have here, the milk bath trend is still, it's still going. So, and I've had people ask me and I never actually said it and I should have. So what I do is I have LCNs and I just had them shortened so I can actually type on a computer because they were getting a little too long.
Yeah.
But it's just OPI bubble bath. It's one coat of bubble bath, which is the basic pink. And then I do 2 coats of Kyoto Pearl, which is also OPI, and it gives that like iridescent kind of milk bath trend.
Yep.
Thank you. And I've just done it now for months because it's so easy and it goes with everything.
Yeah.
You
so it's the sheer.
Down.
You put the sheer pearl over it. I had taken a picture into my lady yesterday and she's like, oh, I don't know if we can do that. And it was like a white pearl because I have 2 events coming up in the next 2 weeks and I don't know what I'm wearing to either one of them yet. So I needed to get my nails done because they were horrific.
I'm telling you, try Kyoto Pearl. It's from OPI and do 2 coats of it. And it even has, you can't even see it on camera, but it has the tiniest bit of iridescence to it. And it blends in with like your skin tone. It's like a universal, it's fantastic. I'm so happy that I started using it. And it on the Biogel, especially, it'll last for a long time.
Okay. So bubble bath, Kyoto Pearl.
Yes,
I'm in.
that's my milk bath recipe.
I think it's so pretty. It's so clean looking. And, you know, if you don't want to do the dark stuff or you want to give yourself a break, it looks so nice and it looks good on any skin tone. It's great.
It really does. Yeah, it really does. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening again, you guys. And follow us on Instagram at Beauty Pop Pod. Follow Jen at Jennifer Horn Radio. You can follow me at On Air Victoria. Leave us a rating and review. We've gotten a few really nice reviews and ratings lately. So thank you so much for that. And if you are listening to the audio version of this on Apple or wherever you listen to your podcast, definitely check out our video versions, which are now on our YouTube page. All you have to do is just search Beauty Pop Podcast and you will see this is our third video podcast. So we'll pop right up and then you can see a lot of the stuff that we're very descriptive on camera with, which makes it easier if you can see us. So thank you guys so much and we'll talk to you again next week.
Bye.